Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks to Allah who has given good health, time, and opportunities so that we can still meet again in this morning, both in the Zoom meeting and in this room. Your Excellencies, Gusti Kanjeng Ratu Mangkubumi, the Financial Officer of the Mataram Foundation Yogyakarta, who has joined in the Zoom meeting, and the member of Mataram Foundation Yogyakarta, Bu Inge, and the other members. The Honorable Professor Dr. Ediswandi Hamid, MEC, Director of University of Widya Mataram, the Honorable Professor Robert Brickman, PhD, the Dean College of Liberal Arts and Science, Northern Illinois University, and delegates from NIU, Professor Eric Jones, Mr. Dan McCoy, Ms. Sui Yuan, Mr. Abu Bah, our distinguished guests, the delegation from Institut Teknologi Nasional Yogyakarta and also from Universitas Tunas Pembangunan Surakarta, the speakers and all of participants of this international conference. It's an honor for me to stand here to deliver a paper entitled The Role of Food Technology in Health Architecture. Can help to, okay, thank you. Our outline of paper consists of introduction, Indonesian food product competitiveness, nutritional problems and access to health diets, future food trends, food technology and its role in health, and the end with a conclusion. Let's start from the background. As we know that three priorities in the G20, one of them is global health architecture. Indonesia has encouraged strengthening global health resilience and help the global health system be more inclusive, equitable, and responsive to crisis. Global health is essential because the COVID-19 pandemic is the biggest challenges for the global community. So one way to do that is by building stronger global health architecture. This can be achieved through adequate and quality food intake. Food sovereignty and security is a strategic issue to realize health. Since before the COVID-19 pandemic, several major drivers have put the world off track to ending world hunger and malnutrition in all its form by 2030. Now, the COVID pandemic and related contaminant measurement have made it significant more challenges to achieve this goal. But they also have highlighted the need for deeper reflection of how to better address the major drivers that are resulting in the global food insecurity and malnutrition situation we are experiencing right now. The COVID pandemic has pushed consumers not only want more product delicious and healthy, but also consider effort to preserve the environment. The pandemic has changed how and where we spend, as well as what we eat. Consumers have adapted to new normal, creating and shifting existing trends. food technology is directed to meet the demand for food with nutritional value and health benefit improvement, environmental sustainability, and ethical aspect. A healthy generation will be built if supporting by provision independent and sovereignty in the food. In this context, it requires a proper understanding from the public about healthy food. The effort to meet food that needs secure and sovereignty should be pushed through means capable of advancing and general welfare, produce smart people so that can contribute for the achievement of an increasingly dignified world. The effort to increase sovereignty, food, building a healthy generation, and strengthen as a dignified nation, substantially intended to deliver critical evaluation of policies and implementation of the fulfillment of food needs, secure access and availability of food diverse, nutritional balance and safe for family, and then which can be strengthened food sovereignty and strengthen dignity Indonesian nation in the world view. Healthy diets have the potential to improve nutritional equity. That is what need to build health architecture. As a lighter, the idea to improve competitiveness of Indonesian food and agricultural product presented some the data, as well as a reflection of the competitiveness condition of food product and current agricultural products. For example, the issues of import of industrial salt and sugarcane, soybean, corn, and beef, import of soybean, wheat flour, and products derived from milk also continued to increase. Fresh milk produced domestically, beside the amount insufficient, it's also not entirely acceptable and used by dairy industry because it's don't comply standards as raw material. It shows that the production of fresh milk in the country is not competitive and in terms of quality and price. On the other hand, the commodity export which show fairly high competitiveness in international and domestic trade is palm oil and spices. Sorry, the pointers move. Let's see the current status of Indonesia estate crops production. In this commodity, Indonesia has a competitive advantages because supported by large production volume and sustainability for tropical condition. Because supported by large production volume and sustainability for the production, however, the form of the exported commodity in the part, most of it still in the form of raw materials which have low value added. For example, some of them still in the form of crude palm oils or CPO, or species in wool and raw condition. If that commodity not properly prepared and responded, they will be able to suffer the same fate with production and export of cacao beans. Indonesia can only to become an exporter of cacao bean as raw materials, while a large added value enjoyed by the chocolate industry in the destination country or enjoyed by importer. Even more concerning in the region here, it turns out to meet the needs of the domestic chocolate processing industry have to import cacao beans from other countries. Very ironic, but that's our current condition. To realize a sustainable food system, it must address the problem, including climate change, reversing biodiversity loss, halting the decline in public health, farming in harmony with nature, promoting biodiversity, ration of crops, avoiding chemical fertilizer and pesticides, building soil fertility. Besides that, it must be ensured that the processes from farm to table are under control. The technology and innovation are needed across the food supply chain. The length of production and distribution chain of food that has not been supported by infrastructure and adequate supply chain management can result in food loss and food waste. It's not only impact on heavy burden on environmental, but also make the selling price of the commodity food cannot compete. When compared to other Asian countries, the total food waste in Indonesia is the highest. Food waste is food that is ready for consumption by humans, but it is thrown away and eventually accumulated in landfill. Food waste that accumulates in landfills produce methane and carbon dioxide. This results in gas emission or environmental pollution. Besides liking the produce food waste, more than 95% Indonesian people in the year of 2018 apparently lack of consumption meat, vegetables, and fruit, lower than the rest of the world and the average country in Asia. Only 1% of Indonesia is unable to meet diet sufficiently calories, but almost 69.1% of people cannot afford a healthy diet. The new challenges of malnutrition is hidden higher, an example in the form of micronutrient deficiencies, especially deficient of iron, iodine, folic acid, zinc, vitamin E, and other micronutrients. Known as hidden hunger, because often the signs are not visible, even though the impact is enormous. Food diversification, supplementation, and food fortification accompanied by hygiene and sanitation environmental is an available solution for overcome the problems of micronutrient deficiencies. Role food diversification in overcoming the problem, this is certainly very important, but necessarily long time to make it happen. Supplementation is also one effective solution, but requires cost and resource allocation large for its distribution as well as its scope, often unequally distributed between regions. Fortification food has been effective in reducing hidden hunger as well as cost effective. Indonesia is considered as a country that has experienced the double burden of malnutrition and maybe also the triple burden of malnutrition. The biggest in the world. 1 of 3 Indonesia children consider stunned a form of malnutrition. Meanwhile, in adults, the prevalence obesity and all its complications coexist, such as diabetes mellitus, hypertension, and cardiovascular disease, the longer to getting higher. Although from year to year, the number is decreasing, cases of malnutrition in toddlers are still quite high. Currently, stunting in toddlers is still a problem, most discussed child health problem in Indonesia. WHO defines stunting as the impaired growth and development that children experience from poor nutrition, repeated infection, and inadequate psychosocial stimulation. The number of children affected by stunting was 27% lower in 2020 than in 2000, and the prevalence rate of stunting also declined. Meanwhile, obesity has increased globally across all ages since 2000. And this partly influenced by dietary pattern as development in food industry. The global food industry can always change as technology develops and consumers demand. Trends in food technology are involved toward food choices, sustainable and personalized. This include protein source, new product, local food, nutraceutical, and personalized nutrition. Concern toward environmental impact, directing technology and the food industry to integrate practices to minimize food waste. In 2022, the global food trends shift to alternative source of protein, including meat from the development of cell culture in laboratory, which is the most significant trend. There are predictions of 5 food trends globally in 2023, part of which is continuation of the previous year's food trends. They are functional food, plant-based, animal-free food, meat, food packaging, transparency, and trust on food, and computerized technology in food. Food technology is the science that studies all processes of processing food ingredients so that they become food that is healthy, has higher nutritional value, and safe for consumption.
Excuse me, Professor. We should finish in 2 minutes.
Also, assessing to save food is very important for food security, but its implementation by many food policy makers unaware of this relationship. Health problem due to consumption of unsafe food is often the case on highly nutritious food such as fresh vegetable or animal products that are higher in protein because these foods are susceptible to contamination like E. coli or Salmonella. The risk is especially severe in regulatory area restricting food production in handling and consumers and food handlers have very limited access to clean water source and adequate food storage. Therefore, it's very important to ensure that the traditional market for safe, nutritious food needs to be supported during pandemic can continue to maintain food security, especially for low-income consumers. Non-communicable and degenerative disease also need great attention. Therefore, consumption of food source of antioxidant or food products containing antioxidant can inhibit the many problems of health. Many research result that produce safe, nutritious, and healthful food are carried out in order to realize the health architecture. And then we can conclude that, like as shown on the screen, and I think I have finished my presentation. Thank you for your attention.